All right, I'm live. So if you're here, let me know in the live chat, please. As always, I'll wait 5 minutes for people to just come in. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Thank you very much. Let me know. Lovely Stones, thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up. Edith Brooks, Evelyn Dementria, thank you for being here. The verse for today is Proverbs chapter 15, verse 14. I want to post the verse in the live chat very soon. Hold on. And I put another translation in it, besides the King James Version, and I'll explain soon why I do it. Thank you for the thumbs up. Still 3 minutes before I begin teaching. How are you all today? Let me know in the live chat. How are you all? Good. Joanna, thank you for being here. You're right on time, about to begin within 2 minutes with teaching, so you're right on time. Nicole, thank you for being here. So Proverbs chapter 15, verse 14. I've placed the King James translation as well as the New Living Translation. I never use New Living Translation, but in this case, I also post New Living Translation. So please read the King James translation of that verse and the New Living Translation. I posted both in the live chat. Thank you very much. I know I've been absent for several days. A lot of weird stuff happened, including me being denied access to the United States by Homeland Security for some reason they couldn't explain to me. So after I was deported to Germany, I received an email from the ESTA department saying, we're sorry that Homeland Security denied your access to the United States, but your visa is canceled because of them, but they rather wouldn't say why. And I was thinking, what? Hold on a minute. I have no criminal records. I never was involved in any terrorist organization. I never visited the United States. I applied online for this ESTA visa. I was approved. And now I arrived there in Homeland Security and begins asking questions. Do you have relatives that were in the military? Do you have relatives involved in terrorist or terrorist groups? Were you involved with terrorist friends? A whole interrogation about potential terrorism, asking me more than twice, do you have military experience? What did you do in Korea? Going through all my stuff. I was thinking, what's going on here? Eventually, it was a black police officer who told them, I take care of this. And a black police officer held an interview with the assist of a Dutch interpreter, and he made up a file saying I had to be deported because my visa so-called doesn't cover my activity, which is work exchange in the United States. Even though ESTA approved my application. And here's the thing. If the visa was incorrect, you could just say it from the start. Why talk about terrorism, talking about what they do in Korea and all of that? And according to the ESTA, I got their email, Homeland Security prefers not to say why I was declined to the United States. And I'm thinking, what the hell is this? But you know what? I'm at peace, saints. I'm at peace. They should have booked me a flight to Amsterdam because I'm a Dutch citizen, but they told me you're going to get a transit flight in Frankfurt. I arrived in Frankfurt. There was no transit flight in existence. So with the aid of a relative, I boarded a train to the Netherlands, where I later was picked up by a cousin. Right now, I'm doing well, and I'm already active economically again. So no wounds, none of that. But just so you know, I intended to stay for 2 months in Washington, D.C., potentially visiting some of you, some of you subscribers to the United States. But for some reason, Homeland Security thought I was a risk to the United States. And while I was in that office, that police station, there was this Latino guy who even admitted having restraining orders from his exes against him, and it told him, welcome to USA, sir, enjoy, and it gave him his passport. Well, for those who are in the United States, please pray for your country because this is paranormal. But anyway, the Lord made it work for the good. So now you know why I was absent for a few days. And here's another thing. All that heavy contention existed against me more than 9 months ago last year is gone now. I'm completely at peace around here. Praise God. So I just want to take the time to explain to you why I was absent for a few days, because I owe that to you, because you guys are subscribing to me, you girls also, some of you donate to me, so you should know why was I absent. That's why I'm giving this explanation. And what I've learned from this is that there are times the Holy Spirit will redirect your path when he sees that you're about to crash or he sees you're about to enter into a lot of danger. Just one thing for sure. I'm willing to be involved with Americans from the United States, but I do not deal with the USA administration. Okay? I will never get involved with the United States of America, especially not after this first encounter where they treated me as a potential terrorist, even though there was no motive and no proof and no evidence for it. Everyone I told us was saying, Rashid, this ain't right. But you know what? You know who's right? The Lord is. And the Lord will rectify the situation at their expense. That's their problem. I'm here teaching you safe and sound. Praise the Lord. I'll edify the people anyway. No demon is going to stop me. None of them. So, this fits right into the topic I'm about to talk about, and that is escaping and overcoming recycled conflict. Now, how many of you remember the concept of samsara, which I've explained several live streams ago? If you don't, it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about it anyway. Well, how many of you remember what samsara stands for? It's a Sanskrit term, a pagan term, but I've explained it. I'll wait for another minute. Maybe you guys need to refresh. So do you remember the concept samsara? I explained the pagan concept. I will do it again if necessary. So Okay, Danielle, you understand it? What about the rest? Okay, it doesn't matter if you don't remember, because I've made a lot of live streams lately. Okay, what is samsara? Samsara is a Sanskrit term. It's used in South Asia, and it is from paganism, and it means a recycled mindset. Okay? So let me write it down in the live chat, samsara. It is recycled mindset. That's what samsara is. Now, why is this pagan term so important? It is because that's the description of what society is. It's a collective recycled mindset. And here's the thing: the term samsara does not come from the people that speak Sanskrit. It doesn't come from the South Asians. It comes from King Solomon, who said it different as "there's nothing new under the sun." There's nothing new under the sun. That's a saying from King Solomon in his old bitter age. And later in South Asia, the pagans turned into a term called samsara. Same would mean a mindset of recycling. Okay? And the wheel is used as a symbol of this recycling. And the ancient Greeks and Romans, they used the god Janus as their reference to samsara. Janus is a fallen angel, by the way. It's a demon spirit who was banned from heaven. And they portray this demon with two faces. It doesn't have two faces, literally. It only has one face. But they portray him with two faces to refer to this samsara cycle. After Janus, we have the month January. Steve E., thanks for being here. Later, replay this live stream. Then you'll know what happened to me past days. How was the night ox to the United States by Homeland Security and all of that. But for now, I'll continue. So you have the god Janus. Actually, he's not the god, but the demon spirit Janus that the Romans worshipped, and the Greeks also. Yet they will name the month January after him. Which comes, and this relates to the samsara concept that they use in South Asia. And this samsara concept originates with King Solomon. Okay? And it simply means you renovate the old. That is what samsara is all about. You renovate the old mind, which is the fallen mind of mankind. Instead of renewing someone's mind, you renovate their mind. Well, what's the difference between renewing and renovating? To renew something means you redeem it from destruction. That's renewing the mind. Renovating the mind simply means you clean it up. You clean up the pollution when the pollution is too much. That's renovating. When you renew your mind, you break down the old thinking patterns and you learn to think according to Christ. That's renewing your mind. When you renovate your mind, you replace one pagan content for another. So do you understand the difference between renewing the mind and renovating the mind? Let me know in the live chat. So believers renew their mind. Pagans renovate their mind. Yes, Nicole, exactly true. Renew is breaking down old patterns, and you do that so that the bonds of Christ can come in, and renovate is replace the same pagan concept with something else. So, in the world, they only renovate. they never renew. They have no ability to renew, so they can only renovate things. But here's the thing. The world has a finite amount of concepts it can use. They copy everything from God and they pervert it. That's the only thing they can do. So, let me give an example. In the ancient Celts of ancient Ireland and also ancient Britain, they had this celebration in which they venerated the dead. Okay? I believe the celebration is called Samhain, it was called. And after the establishment of the Greek Empire, they reformed this celebration to include sun worship. Before that, it was just worshiping dead people. Then it became worshiping dead people in honor of the sun. The sun means Apollo. That's why after the Hellenization make the world more Greek. After they went through Hellenization in ancient times, they included the pumpkin in their celebration. The pumpkin is a sun symbol. Okay? You get it? So, hey, Eddie Johnson, thank you for being here. You're a moderator. Thank you very much. So the Samhain celebration, worship of the dead, became worship of the dead surrounding Apollo. And during these celebrations, they had the annoying tradition to kidnap little children, mostly little boys, from their families. And these children will be ritually killed to function as sponges for the negativity of the community. And the parents or the family of the children kidnapped will receive a pumpkin as thank you for contributing to the well-being of the community. And many parents would not give up the children voluntarily, so they sent a whole team of warlocks to fight the relatives just in order to kidnap the child. These abominable things were done by the ancient Celts. Now, when the real Christianity appeared under the influence of the Apostle Paul and the other and the first believers after Christ was risen, the Samhain celebration faded away. Because a lot of white Celts also realized, hold on a minute, why are we celebrating this thing? So they put it away. But the same Samhain celebration, which became Hellenized with sun worship, was later revived in the 20th century as Halloween. So Halloween is the same Samhain celebration of the ancient Celts. You get it? So what happened was that the pagans in the 20th century wanted to go back to the ancient roots of paganism, but they realized that the ancient roots were quite bloody. And they knew that in the present day modern world, even unbelievers would not accept so much violence. So they changed the name a little bit and called it Halloween. But even in the Middle Ages, the Catholics kind of recycled it and called it All Saints' Day. Even though Samhain has nothing to do with saints. It was a child sacrifice festival by the ancient Celts who worshipped demons. So the Catholic Church, which really Rome with a Christian mosque, Christianized the celebration as All Saints' Day. And later in the 20th century, the pagans divorced themselves from the Roman Catholic Church, but they created a softer version of Samhain. The real Samhain, they can't celebrate it today because they would be arrested, they would go to jail. So they came up with a tradition of everyone dressing up like monsters and go around asking for candy, trick and treat. Let me explain the history behind trick and treat. Trick or treat goes like this. In ancient times, when they celebrated Samhain, everyone knew that there are going to be a few children that are going to die soon this year. Everyone knew it. So it was trick or treat. The treat was you voluntarily agree to sacrifice one of the babies. The trick was you would figure out that maybe one of your own children. So if you didn't want it to be one of your own children, you would treat the warlocks by selecting a victim for them. Okay? So trick and treat is a form of blackmail to scare people into complying with child murder, child rape and child murder. That's what it is. But they reshaped it into children dressing up like demons, going around houses asking for candy. Why would you have a party where children dress up like demons, going around asking for candy? Because it's demons seeking to keep mankind in a state of anxiety. It's in this traumatic state of anxiety demons become relevant over us. So this new version called Halloween, well, new is already almost 100 years ago that they renovated it. It's really showing you how demons see human suffering. For demons, human suffering is like candy. It gives them a high. And in this Halloween celebration, the demons are expressing this in this tradition of children going around asking for trick or treat. Now, if you ever participate in trick and treat, that doesn't mean you are a devil worshiper. You are just a child or a kid wanting to have fun with other children. So you're not guilty. However, your participation affected you into being more accepting of devil worship. Because this is what you need to understand. Just because you participated in a pagan celebration doesn't mean you are a devil worshiper. Doesn't mean that you have that you are guilty or that you have a dirty mind. Your motive for participating may have been pure. You just want to have a good time with your family or friends, or you just wanted to get along with other people. So your motivation may not have been wrong, but the celebration is designed to deform your mind. Do you understand this? The same way there are people who celebrate Christmas, which is really Saturnalia from the ancient Romans. Now, why do people participate in Christmas? Just because they want to have a good time with friends and family. So their motivation is not evil. They're not evil people. But what they participate in slowly conditions them to be more tolerant towards demons. Demons cannot make people worship them. Demons can only trick you into worshiping them and not even aware you're doing it. So those pagan celebrations are there to train you to be more tolerant towards demons. Now look, any random teenager that celebrates Halloween would be disgusted when they hear about child rape and child murder. And they would be completely upset if you suggest that they would willingly participate in such a thing. But they're not aware that they've participated in something that resembles child murder and child sacrifice. They were just dressing up like Freddy Krueger. They were just dressing up like those weird cartoon characters and asking for candy. Now look, I go to anime conventions from time to time, to comic book conventions. There's nothing wrong with dressing up like a cartoon character. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you having a good time. As long as you having a good time with other people, it's fine. But the moment there is a hidden motive in a celebration, now that's wrong. So if you go to a party, a comic book party, everyone dresses up. Some people dress up like Superman, others like Batman, others like the Joker, others like Lex Luthor. So if you have a party where people know it's just us having fun, it's good. I go to such parties also from time to time. Okay, people have a good time, but people know then it's just us having a good time. But the moment you pick up such a celebration and you put a psychological weight on it for the masses, that's evil. You get? So do you understand it? It's not the celebration itself that it's wrong. It's the motivation behind it. So if you have a lot of people dressing up like weird characters and have a good time, so be it. But if they're told that there's something special with dressing up like this on a specific day, now you trap them, because now they're investing in a cycle. You get what I'm saying? And that's what all pagan celebrations are doing. All pagan celebrations are there to trick you into investing in cycles, because demons can only operate in patterns and cycles. So demons want you to be trapped in a cycle, because once you're trapped in any type of cycle, they have a grip on you. That's the only thing demons can do, is tricking you in a cycle. If a demon would come to you and tell you, listen, I'm a fallen angel, I rebelled against Heavenly Father, I fought to dethrone the Heavenly Father, it was very stupid. I worship rape demons, I'm here awaiting the lake of fire, I'm filled with diseases, but I need human suffering, especially male sexual suffering, to feel good. So please, will you help me sexually traumatizing the male population so that I could be fed? A demon is never going to tell you it like that openly and showing himself how bad, in what type of bad condition he is after being banned from heaven. He's not going to do that. You get it? Because if a demon would come openly like that, you would say, get away from me. Nobody told you to rebel against Heavenly Father. No, why would I help you sexually traumatizing the men of my community just so that you can feel high, like you're relevant? And we all have to join you in the lake of fire. Are you crazy? So if demons would come directly to you with a blunt explanation of what they want from you, you would say no. There are even bad people who say, hold on a minute, I may be a bad guy or a bad woman, but this goes way too far. So demons can only trick you in such a way that they can have an advantage over you. That's all it is. Demons have to be covert, because the moment demons are overt, you'll be very horrified thinking, what is this? Listen, even narcissists, or even human narcissists, who would get terrified if they would see demons in a state they're in. So, those pagan celebrations are meant for you to rely on a cycle. With Christmas, let me explain how it goes. The real Saturnalia, they will never implement it today, because people will not accept it. But what with Christmas is like this. Every year, there's a special occasion where friends and family come together. So you become dependent on friends and family come together every year. So what happens is that you become lazy in maintaining your social relationships with your relatives, because you think, you know what, with Christmas, we'll come together anyway. So now you rely on a cycle to be on good terms with your family. That is what Christmas tricks into you, that you become reliant on Christmas celebrations to be on good terms with your family, while you should be involved with your relatives all day, year long. So Christmas is there to trick you into a cycle. And once you're in this cycle, you're not aware that you are taken over by wrong expectations. Because those pagan celebrations are there to instill a dark mentality in you. And once this dark mentality is in you, you're not aware you're being swept away by circumstances. So before you know it, demons are pushing you around. Look, your relatives and your friends, you should think about them all year long. You shouldn't wait till Christmas at the end of the year to have special times with them. But Christmas is not the only thing. If you're from the United States, the 4th of July celebration is also a pagan holiday. And by the way, it used to be the 2nd of July, but it changed to the 4th for some administrative reason. So the 4th of July is also a pagan celebration to trick you into believing into that American flag. Okay? So if you are celebrating the 4th of July, you're developing a mentality of relying on the United States. The United States becomes your God. And it's the United States has 50 stars in it and 13 stripes. I believe 7 of them, I may be wrong, but I believe 7 of them are red stripes, 6 of them are white. The red stripes refer to the streams of the blood of the people they've murdered. That's the bloodshed of the people they've killed, namely black slaves and Native Americans. The white stripes is the white magic to justify the blood sacrifice. It's excuses. And the 50 stars are the 50 demonic overlords or rape spirits that claim that territory called the United States. So the American flag is a very pagan, satanic symbol. That's what it is. But don't you realize that many believers are clinging onto that pagan symbol as if their sanity depends on it? It's one thing to have an American flag. It's another thing to rely on it for your mental equilibrium. Okay? And in line with the 4th of July, Thanksgiving. Oh dear. Thanksgiving has its origin in ancient Rome, where they would give praise to the goddesses for the harvest. Florida was one of the Roman goddesses of spring. That's why they named that peninsula Florida. The Spanish called it Florida after the Roman goddess. So in Thanksgiving, they were giving praise to the goddesses, which were often daughters of Satan. Now later, the white colonists from Europe that arrived in the United States, many of them were pagan, but they pretended to be Christian. There were real believers, white believers that crossed the ocean to the Americas, but there were also many pagans who crossed over pretending to be believers. And those pagans who pretended to be believers, they had other plans with the natives. They wanted to blood sacrifice the natives to build another white country. And when they managed to kill a lot of the natives, they began to say thank you to the demons. But because they pretended to be believers, they brought thanks to God. And they recycled this pagan Thanksgiving celebration of ancient Rome into the colonial era, and they called it Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is a recycling of the ancient Roman Thanksgiving celebration to the goddesses. So Thanksgiving is really giving thanks to demons for getting smooth success at the expense of other people. And the colonists, the white colonists, celebrated Thanksgiving because they were able to get the land, to steal the land of the Native Americans and to become prosperous at the expense of black slaves. So they killed a lot of Native Americans and enslaved black people, and they were giving thanks to the demons for being able to do that and to have the smooth success at the expense of blacks and Native Americans. That's it. Now, Rashid, but a lot of people, when they think about Thanksgiving, they think about eating turkey with their family. Okay, why don't they eat turkey with their family throughout the year? Why is it that it must be a special day to give thanks? Shouldn't Thanksgiving be part of your character? Why do you need special days to give thanks? Shouldn't thank you be a part of your character as a human being? Oh, and about the United States, it's another type of idolatry. The Constitution is seen as a second Bible by a lot of beliefs in America. A lot of believers in America will rely on the Constitution first, and second, rely on Christ. Oh, let me say it better. A lot of them rely on the Constitution, and second, rely on the Bible. They don't even rely on Christ. We were never told to rely on the Bible. Near the Old and New Testament, we're supposed to rely on Christ, who leads us. The Bible is a document testifying and referring to Christ. Old Testament refers to the New, and New Testament confirms God's will. We ought to rely on Christ, not on the Bible. You get what I'm saying? But a lot of the so-called people that claim to follow Christ in America, they don't even rely on Christ. They rely on the Constitution of the United States, and secondly, on the Bible. So if they were in error, that they just relied on the Bible instead of God, you would say, okay, maybe they're believers, we need to get it right. But they trust the American Constitution before they trust the Bible. So they may call themselves believers, but when you're around, they realize those people are just pagan. Because those men who wrote the American Constitution were pagan. They were openly pagan. They built the United States inspired by the Roman Republic. The Roman Republic was a big failure that even pagans in ancient times wanted to get rid of. But now they established a country based on a pagan model that failed just to hinder black folks. That's why they established the United States. And now you have people today, unfortunately, even black people, that believe in that document. And they call themselves believers. No, they're not believers. They are reprobate religious folks. That's all they are. Anytime things go wrong in their life, anytime they hear about tyranny in the government, say, I have my First Amendment right. Or they would say, yes, but the government's appointed by God, so you must bend over. Hold on a minute. If you claim the government's appointed by God, why are you using a document of the government to protect yourself from the government if the government's appointed by God? Do you see this gets out of hand? And Romans chapter 13 does not refer to civil governments, it refers to believers, but they don't even understand that. So, what I'm teaching you here is that the world, or you can say society, is nothing but a samsara house. It's nothing but a house filled with rubbish. Look, in a house there must be rubbish. If you purchase some groceries and you finish cooking, you throw away the packages of the ingredients, and that's rubbish, okay? And later, the rubbish, you put them in a sack and you throw them out. Wherever people are living, there's some type of rubbish. Rubbish is just a waste product as a result of you living. Garbage is when you're dealing with leftover foods or things that can decompose organically. You get it? Litter is just something you throw in a trash can. Those are the different English words referring to trash. Now, garbage you throw away immediately because you know it's going to rot or it's going to stink. Rubbish are things like dry paper, or they may be old documents, or they may be old boxes, or broken pieces of glass. So rubbish you can store for a while, but eventually has to go. Now look at this. What if you have someone who never throws away the rubbish, but the rubbish keeps piling up? Eventually, the whole house is filled with rubbish and you can't even walk anywhere. Well, let me tell you, that's how society is. Society is a rubbish house. So, that's what society is, a rubbish house. The world hoards negativity, and they recycle negativity. That's the only thing the world is doing. And demons are just taking advantage of this fallen attitude of mankind throughout the generations. Fallen mankind, so mankind without Christ, is a hoarder of pollution. Fallen mankind loves to hold on to what's not good for them. And that's all society is. Society is just a bunch of conflicts that the group decides to operate in. So society by itself is a conflict that's repeated over and over again, and it's a conflict that children are groomed into. Look, imagine you have a colleague at work and he offers you a ride home, and you arrive at his car and you see that the car looks very brand new, but the moment he opens the door, there's a huge stench coming from the car. The stench even causes you to vomit. Your body resists the stench. And you ask him, what's going on? What you have in the car? And he says, oh, sorry. That's all litter, man. I always go to the McDonald's after work and I just throw the leftover hamburgers and all the leftover shakes behind me. And you ask him, how long have you been doing this? Well, for about 3 months. So you ask him, are there 3 months of McDonald's rubbish in your car? And he tells you, yeah. Just hop in, I'll bring you home. Would you enter that car? Let me know in the live chat. Would you enter that car? Three months of McDonald's rubbish stinking and rotting in his car. And he's driving that car every day to work. And I want you to hop into that car. And there are all types of bacteria and insects all in the car. You would not enter that car. Because you would be endangering your physical health by entering that car. But let me tell you, that's how society is. Society pretends to be this collective movement of sanity and order just so you could hop in. But once you hop in and get along with the ride, you realize that it's filled with rubbish. The spirit of fear is behind hoarding. People hoard when they are afraid of getting better in the future. And society is a fear construct. So society is all about hoarding conflict. Prison is only there to give the illusion that things are being solved while nothing's being solved. Yes, TVE, I saw that video. I was disturbed by it. If people fall for that TVE, then I don't know anymore, man. I'm already quite disappointed in mankind, just because of all these opportunities, and they still choose the rubbish of Satan. But if they fall for that video, TVE, then oh man, the folks are really far gone. Nicole, you don't have to apologize or anything like that. We all were tricked by the world, all of us. All of us were tricked by society. But here's the thing. Let's go back to the example, the parable I just gave on to you, of this guy. About this guy who has this car filled with McDonald's rubbish. The rubbish is stinking. You have maggots, bacteria, ants, all type of animals running around over there. What if you would open the car, but you wouldn't sense the stench? If you wouldn't sense the stench in your nose, you wouldn't notice something was wrong. What if you put perfume all over the car so you wouldn't then recognize the stench? What if you would throw a blanket uh, on the back of the car so you wouldn't see the rubbish? You only see the blanket, and he would tell you, "Oh, those are just stuff I need to give to one of my neighbors." What if you would disguise the rubbish in the car? You might have entered the car because you don't sense the stench and you don't see the rubbish. Because you don't sense the stench in your nose and you don't see the rubbish, you think, oh, okay, I can enter this car. It's later when you're in the car that you will feel the maggots and bacteria and all that. You think, what is this? And then you realize, oh crap, I'm in a very unhealthy situation. And that's what society always does. You are always tricked into believing that some conflict will work out for the best. And this is what happened to all of us who became believers. All of us used to be in that dirty car that Satan was driving. Satan picked you up with a car, offering you a ride, and we all fell for it. And we thought, oh, this guy is an experienced driver. He drives this very expensive car. Because the car looked very expensive, very noble, we thought, I'm going to hop in. When you were in the car and you realized, oh shit, it's filled with garbage, you hopped out. Some of you hopped out a little bit later because you couldn't believe you fell for it, but all of us hopped out of it. Okay? Now, the reprobate is the human being who insists in believing that the rubbish is valuable, even when the rubbish is killing them with diseases. Okay? Let me give one example of such of rubbish that people just can't see as rubbish. Feminism. The whole movement of feminism is rubbish recycled, because the movement of feminism derives from the worship of Aphrodite, which we know as Jezebel, Satan's daughter. Okay? Jezebel, or also called Aphrodite, which was her real Greek name, she was a Nephilim, a daughter of Satan, which he brought forth with a Greek witch. Now, Satan hating women, they don't want to acknowledge that child of his. So Aphrodite grew up with father issues. Her being a Nephilim, not a human being, was already a disaster, and she was a shapeshifter that relied on draining the electric and magnetic strength of human bodies. So she used to drain the physical life source of men to feel good. So she would shapeshift her looks to attract men, and during sexual intercourse, she would drain and kill them. Okay? Eventually, the ancient Greeks killed her, but she already had a big movement of ancient European women that followed her. And this movement of following Aphrodite or Jezebel, that became Dianic witchcraft in ancient Europe. And eventually, this has been resurrected in the feminist movement. Okay? So feminism is really the revival of the worship of Jezebel, one of Satan's chief daughters. Satan has more daughters, but Jezebel is actually the one he hates the most, and she's the one that's most promoted also. All right? And Jezebel is the cluster B model female that they want to turn all women into. So feminism aims to address violence against women. But look at this. Since the 1950s, end of the 1950s, feminists have been fighting against the so-called patriarchy, against oppression of women. It's 2021. Someone count how many years it is. 1960 till 2021. Just count the amount of years for me and tell me in the live chat. Tell them how many years it is. Tell them how many years it's been since they began fighting their fight for women. It has been over 60 years. And some feminists were even active longer. So, over 6 decades, they've been fighting for the improvement of the lives of women. And many of those feminists were wealthy, they were rich. Yet billions of dollars invested in feminist projects. Until this day, they're fighting against violence against women. So in 60 years, those are 3 generations. They didn't accomplish anything on for the long-term well-being of women worldwide. And often, when they talk about standing up for women, they mean white women. But they won't tell you that because feminism has its roots in white supremacy. So let me get this straight. Since feminism emerged, more women ended up depressed, more women ended up as single mothers, more women ended up in sodomy, and more women ended up desperate and lonely. And now you have more women than ever with mental health issues about their own bodies. And this thing, feminism complains that men tend to view women as sex objects, but yet those same feminists wear very short skirts, high heels to show off their sexuality all over the place. And then they complain when they're perceived as a sex object. Oh, so if you don't want men to see you as a sexual object, who do you want to give you sexual attention? Oh, so you're not seeking for sexual attention from men? That means you're seeking for sexual attention from women. You get it? So feminism claims to be there to empower women, but when it comes down to it, they don't deliver anything worthwhile to females. There are many, many little girls being trafficked in child porn in Southeast Asia. Where are the feminists defending those little girls? The Chinese Communist Party condones infanticide of Chinese girls. Many Chinese girls were aborted, or as little babies, they were thrown in trash cans. Because in Chinese culture, they favor sons over girls. So a lot of baby girls are murdered every year after birth in China. Where are the feminists? Where are they? Oh, but hold on a minute. Those girls are not white. Oh, maybe that's why feminists are not interested in it. What about Honduras, where a lot of men kill women like an addiction? And you have women over there who identify as feminists, but their feminist sisters worldwide don't support them at all. So when you look at it, feminists don't defend women. They only bitch and complain about men, as if women are not able to do harm. So feminism is recycled rubbish. Stinking rubbish. That's what it is. Oh, yes, G.D. Levi, thank you. G.D. Levi says, hello, everyone. Where are the feminists standing up for those Asian women who got shot in a massage parlor? So feminism is recycled garbage. It's garbage that a lot of people don't want to see it for the garbage it really is. Why? Because they pretend to be something they're not. It's an ancient conflict that they recycled and put it in the modern world. And here's the thing. In ancient times, you had believers who tolerated the worship of Aphrodite, which is also called Jezebel in Hebrew. Today, the same thing's happening. Today, the Jezebel cult, or called feminism, they come into your face. And if you dare not to worship them, they break you down. And Jezebel, or Aphrodite, is assisted by the fallen angel Asimudi. And the fallen angel Asimudi is the head of the rainbow community. You get it? Those are the two movements today that are determined to shut down believers. Jezebel's movement of reprobate women, called feminism, as well as the rainbow community led by the fallen angel Asimudi. For those that watch my community posts, there's a little image of how Asimudi looks like, so you can know what type of entity you're dealing with. So the worship of Asimudi is resurrected in the rainbow community, and the worship of Aphrodite is resurrected into the feminist movement. It's just stinking old rubbish recycled again. So understand this. Demons have nothing new to offer. They have nothing to offer to begin with. So the world has nothing new nor long-term beneficial to offer. They can only recycle conflicts to distract you from seeing that they have nothing better to offer you. So, as a saint, you ought to escape from those recycled conflicts as soon as possible. So if you are a female believer, do not entertain feminists venting the frustrations with you. Now, some will say Rashid, that's very unempathic. That's very cruel. No. If those women really want solutions for the long term, for both themselves and other women, they should improve their attitude and be more feminine. Okay? Women ought to be feminine. That's why they're women. So if you have women who act in an unfeminine way and they have no intention of giving it up, why are they venting their pollution with you? Don't listen to it. Excuse yourself and move yourself from the conversation. What? So if they're not interested in giving up their bitterness against men, that means they want to recruit you into their bitterness. So if they want to recruit you into their bitterness, what do they want from you? That means that if you are married or in a relationship with a sexually healthy man, that means that they're envious of that man being with you. They want to be the ones with you. So they're actually recruiting you into sodomy. That's what they're doing. Why would a woman who refuses to be feminine want to be around a feminine woman? Okay? So that's one way as a female believer you can escape recycled conflict. Do not allow them to recruit you in their rubbish. Don't. Be humble enough to let someone go. Be humble enough to walk away. Too many people think, no, you should show them love. You should. No, 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 no. Don't be proud. Don't stay when God told you to walk away. When God tells you to walk away, it's not because God is telling you to be weak nor a coward. No. Walking away takes courage. Walking away means you're realistic about the situation. Now I'm talking to you men. Listen, guys. If you have men who have been done dirty by filthy women, just show them that there are still pleasant and natural-minded women around. But if you realize that they want to recruit you into their MGTOW movement, men going their own way, which way they don't explain, then say goodbye to that interaction in a peaceful way and move on. Do not entertain their cyclical bitching about women. You know why? Because they're not into seeking sexual solutions. They just want to bitch and complain about the women who did them dirty instead of looking for better. All right? And here's an easy way to detect recycled rubbish. A very easy way. Please note it for yourself, and some of you, please repeat it in the live chat. Here's a very easy way to detect recycled rubbish. Very easy. Ask the following question. What are the long-term benefits this movement or group is chasing after? Whatever it is, ask yourself what the long-term benefits are that they're looking for or that the movement's leading towards. If they're not clear about the long-term benefits they're craving for, or if it's unclear whether that movement will lead to a long-term benefit, then it's likely recycled garbage. And here's the thing, feminists never mentioned any long-term benefits for women. They never did. So feminism should have been detected as recycled rubbish from the start. Since in the 1960s, it should have been identified as that already. So I am even amazed it survived so long. And here's what you need to understand. Those recycled conflicts are there to stop you from operating in life in abundance. That's all it is. The demons are using those recycled conflicts to hinder you in walking life in abundance. That's what it's all about. A lot of women join feminism thinking they're going to contribute to the well-being of many women. Later find out that they've just been ruined by that movement. The same happens with many movements out there. You think that the movement will lead to some good, but eventually realize that it's only robbing you. So, if the direction towards long-term benefits is missing, just walk away. About the civil rights movements, the civil rights movements were real. It was real resistance by Black folks for the harm they were suffering. So it wasn't recycled rubbish in the beginning. But eventually, many of those civil rights activists were killed. And after the death of Martin Luther King, they installed a counterfeit of the civil rights movement, which aimed for integration. You get it? So The civil rights movement, till the assassination of Martin Luther King, was realistic because the black folks really insisted on we wanted better. No justice, no peace. However, since the assassination of Dr. King's legacy, or let's say what he did 5 years earlier with his I Have a Dream speech, was used to promote integration. And this caused many black folks to think, yes, we've won. Integration is happening. Okay? But the thing is, it's the same trap of promising liberty but never delivering it that was going on. And it took till the 1990s for many blacks to realize that they've been set up and their parents were set up. Okay? So now, you don't have an actual civil rights movement in the United States, but it's about to happen again. But this time, they gave us a civil rights movement called Black Lives Matter. Okay? And now they gave a fake civil rights movement called Black Lives Matter. And they're using the real civil rights struggles of the past to justify this fake one they've given to us. And with this fake one, they are abusing and exploiting the struggles of black folks of the past to advance the rainbow agenda. That's how they do it. You get it? So you had the real civil rights struggles of black folks. They're using that now of the past for this fake one they've given us, and this fake one they're using to kind of undo what black folks have fought for. Whether George Floyd, that man was killed. Whether it was part of a ritual set up or whether it was just police brutality or going crazy, it happened. But they thought they could get away with it to condition the masses to victimize black folks. But it backfired a lot. Gino, thank you very much for the subject donation. Very much appreciated. And it's one thing you need to understand. Black Masonic groups are very dangerous. I don't care for which ethnicity you are. If you listen to this, watch out for Black Masonic organizations. Especially if you're a Black believer, Black Masonic organizations are very dangerous. Okay? Much of the harm done in the Black community is powered by Black Masonic organizations who hide behind Black churches. Okay? So I don't care about white rednecks. Okay? I don't bother with them because they are shutting down themselves. I don't even bother with the Asian races because, man, they're embarrassing themselves. I'm more concerned with the coons of the Black community who are cooning all the time. Black Masonic organizations, watch out with them. They are far worse than their white counterparts. So, anytime you encounter a Black Masonic organization, run away. Run away. Don't associate with them. Listen, those Black Masonic organizations, they are they are keeping black folks in endangered. Those black Masonic organizations, they claim they want to help out black men, but they really are keeping us in an enslaved state. That's what they're doing. They're hindering us. And by doing that, they're hindering God's plan. And listen, if you are a black believer and you're about to excel, it's the black Masonic groups that are coming after you. First, they'll try to be they'll pretend to be believers just like you, to sabotage you. Then they will gang stalk you. Then will seek to exterminate you with assistance of the FBI, CIA, and those other organizations. Stop talking about the racist police officers that are shooting black folks. Talk about the talk about the Masonic black Masons who are involved in the police who allow it to happen. They have the power, they have the privileges, they have the money, but they don't do anything about it. About the Black Panther movement, first of all, the Black Panther movement was pagan. That's one thing. And the fact that it was a pagan movement already shows you there's a side effect. Later, the Black Panther movement was hijacked by the Masons. So it became a Masonic movement because they took it over. And you know, the moment the Masons take it over, you know it's finished. Any long-term benefit they attempt to achieve will be sabotaged. And listen to this. Whether it's white Masons, Asian Masons, Arab Masons, black Masons, doesn't matter. Once the Masons come in, whatever good you intend to achieve is sabotaged. That's why we ought to beware who we allow to participate in our projects. Because once the Masons enter in, man, say goodbye to your business. Say goodbye to your book. Say goodbye to your movie. Say goodbye to your music. Say goodbye to it. Say goodbye to the blessings you want to bless people with. Now the only thing people get is contamination. And for black folks, listen to this. Those black Masonic groups will reach out to you with business loans, with financial help, with advice, with whatever. They will come to assist you just to sabotage you. They sabotage their own to get rewards from the demons. That's what they're doing. Okay, enough about George Floyd, please. Thank you very much. So understand that those that are sent to sabotage you will look like you and talk like you. Satan is not going to send people who are way too different from you. Naima already spoke about the Lil Nas X video earlier on, I believe before you arrived. So you can replay it back. It's just them showing more and more what they're really into. Don't worry, Naima, don't worry. But just don't pay too much attention to such stuff. Be informed about it, but don't be distracted by them. And that's one thing I want you to realize. When the enemy comes to deceive you and to sabotage you, he comes with someone that's familiar to you or that's similar to you. Because it's a psychological trick. And note this down to yourself. You are more easily convinced by people who look like you. Because when people look like you and are similar to you, you're more easily convinced by what they're saying. It's a psychological trick. So when it comes to Japanese people, Satan's going to use a Japanese guy who earned a lot of money to deceive them. Satan's not going to use a Chinese guy because Satan knows that there's some enmity between Chinese people and Japanese people. And this enmity is something demons have been causing for centuries. So Satan knows he's not going to do that. If you are a Scandinavian woman, Satan's going to send a blonde-haired guy to show you affection. Okay? Or if you grew up amongst black folks and you're more familiar with black folks, but you're a white woman, then Satan will likely use a black man. Satan will use what you're familiar with and what's similar to your expectations. Okay? And this is a trick that works 99% of the time. When people appear in our lives who are similar to us, we tend to perceive them as one of us. But that is why we need to have discernment as believers. Me? I don't care if someone is black, having dreadlocks, and listening to reggae, and listening to hip hop and all of that. I don't care if they have the black talk and the black accent. If I see or I sense there's something off with them, I do not collaborate with them till I figured out what's going on. I don't. Just because you say Black Lives Matter, or you expose white supremacy, and you promote black issues, and you promote you are for black empowerment, doesn't mean I automatically right with you. Okay? Because I encountered black groups talk about black power and black empowerment, and eventually they were talking about worshiping Egyptian demons. Okay? So beware of those. Look, there is nothing wrong with having people that are similar to you. There's nothing wrong with that. But because it's the most convenient way to deceive people, just beware. You can have people around you that are similar to you. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes the enemy will send people similar to you to bring you down. Because remember, demons have nothing to offer. They have nothing new to bring to the table. They just recycle nonsense. They recycle violence. That's all demons do. And they are offering that violence to us. But because we don't know that it's violence that's offered to us, we often say yes to what appears good to us. My mother told me once, when it came to this female that I considered interesting, she told me, Rashid, not everything that glitters is gold. Let her go. And later, I realized my mom was telling me the truth. Not everything that glitters is gold. Okay? Sometimes something appears beneficial to you, but it's only when you sit down and reflect and you realize, there are some red flags over here. Before the Great Tribulation happens, the tribe of Judah will be restored in full economic dominance, as promised in the scriptures. Okay? Because the scriptures are not about the Catholic Church, the prophecies are not about Western Europe, like some of the white churches tell you. It's about the tribe of Judah, which is the chosen tribe of Israel. Judah has to recover and be in full economic dominance. Then the world will retaliate with a final retaliation to bring us back in chains. And that's the great tribulation that will happen. They will fail and they'll begin to destroy the whole earth, and then Christ will return. I don't know how far it is because the tribe of Judah is still recovering right now. It may take a while before we're fully restored in our economic power. But once that happens, full retaliation will come from the Asian continent. Yes, from Asia. Yes, the kings of the East. So from the east of Iraq and on, the kings of the East will come to exterminate and shut down the tribe of Judah once we are in our full economic power. So black folks, listen, don't worry about those white racists. The real retaliation, the real danger will come from Asia, as prophesied in the book of Revelations. But the good news is they will fail miserably, because this time we are strong and aware. G.D. Levi, Asia is trying to come against blacks in America. It's just a foreshadow of the Great Tribulation, where Asia will retaliate against black power, black economic power. So stop worrying about the so-called white racists or rednecks. They're not the real danger. Look at Asia. They are the ones, as prophesied in Scripture, that will come with their full retaliation against us. And when they fail, the whole world will turn on each other. So, because Asians are more involved in devil worship than anyone else, demons will use them in the final battle, of which demons know they're going to lose, but they just want to bring people with them to the lake of fire. So that's why I kept making those live streams and videos about economic relevancy. Because all believers, Judean or not, all believers should be economically relevant. So what's going on in the United States now with Asian Americans blaming black folks? Soon it's going to be the continent of Asia together blaming black folks and thinking to take vengeance on us when they see us in economic power. Okay? And that's why we should obey the book of Revelations that forewarned us, so that we can use our economic dominance at the time, because the economic dominance of Judah will benefit all believers, because that's why the Heavenly Father will restore Judah, so that Judah will benefit all believers. Okay? So it's not just black believers, it's for all believers. Listen, that's why we should be, in our economic power, we should sabotage the attempts of the Asian retaliation that will come, because it's about to come. Because the thing is, they want to make blacks a scapegoat again. When that fails, because we're in economic power, Asians are going to be enraged. That countries become enraged, and Satan will use them to come full against us. But the Gog and Magog, by the way, Gog and Magog are the chief princes of martial arts, and Asia is identified with martial arts. So even Gog and Magog is associated with Asia. So they will do their dirt on us very soon, but they will fail, because God is already empowering you ahead of time, so that when they come with their big violence, it will fall flat in their face. That creep that came from Wuhan, that has afflicted many people, that creep, they want to blame us, black folks, for the existence of that creep, as if we made that creep. So they intend to use it against us also. Hey, but it backfired. Praise the Lord, it backfired. I'm good in this country. Nobody's messing around with me. There's complete peace around me. No tension whatsoever. Whatever there was last year, it has crashed on whoever was insisting on it. I'm completely at peace here, Stevie. So if they want to start again, they'll better think twice, because this time, in faith, I'll riot as a fierce lion and bring everything down with no empathy whatsoever. So therefore warned. But I'm at peace. And I'll keep investing in you believers and you saints. You know what we're going to do? Decree confusion on those plans of those world leaders. I did that. And check how much confusion and debates and arguments they have about those passports that they want to introduce. Hey, I admit it. I was one of the saints decreeing confusion and ruin on their plans. And there's already ruin manifesting in all their plans. They don't even know how they're about to do it. Many of the plans are already failing. So let's do that. Stop worrying about what they're going to do if they do this. No, we shouldn't be concerned what to do if they come with repressive measures. They should be careful and very, very frightened of coming with oppressive measures, because we are active. That's how we should be. So turn around a little bit. Stop asking yourself, what are we going to do if we're not allowed to travel freely anymore? No, they should think, ooh, we better watch out with trying to restrict free travel, because those believers are on our ass. That's how they should be. So let us decree fierce confusion and ruin on all those people who intend to ruin us. Me, the Dutch taxation service, Belasting is called, for more than a decade, it has been scamming people of color and people from a migrant background in the Netherlands, labeling them as frauds and robbing them and shutting down their economic opportunities. It led to suicides. It led to a lot of children being harmed. And last year, the crime came out and the Dutch government fell. Okay? And there were elections now for a new government. That same Dutch taxation service was targeting me in 2016 also. Man, since then, since my fierce prayers, I decreed ruin. I decreed that they would lose all their finances. I decreed that they would suffer shame and humiliation for what they're doing to me. I decreed a lot on the Dutch taxation service 2016 when they were targeting me. I wrote a letter. They stopped bothering me. And since then, they've been crashing and crashing and crashing. And they're still crashing till this day. So the Dutch authorities know who I am. Anytime they see the name R.E. Dos or Rashi Dos appear, say, no, not with that guy. Not with that nigger over there. No, don't even dare to put our oppressive measures on them, because if he loses it in the spirit, there's going to be consequences on us. Amen. Amen. Devin. The police does do ethnic profiling. And that's how I want it to be for all of you here. Anytime they hear about Daniel Sims, they should think, no, not that woman. Not that woman. Don't mess around with her. When they hear about G.D. Levi, they'll say, not that black woman over there. No, 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 no. Make sure you don't bother her. They should be frightened of the idea of coming with weird ideas in the presence of believers. That's how it should be. But right now, I hear believers saying, oh, what are we going to do if that happens? No, 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 it should be the other way around. They should carry the weight, not you. And listen to me. I'm about to go into a full spiritual riot after this live stream. This country I'm in, again, ha 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 ha. If they ever think they're going to try something again, oh, they're wrong. Because I'll go into a full riot mode. When Christ entered the temple and he saw that they were doing abominable things in the temple, exploiting and harming the poor, Christ overthrew their tables, broke all the property, and smacked them out of the temple with a whip. You get it? Well, the same way I'll be in a riot mode from now on. I'm in a riot mode. In the spirit, smacking all of their things down with no regard for the consequence of their behalf. And I'll continue to do that till I see more and more believers operating in economic power. In the Netherlands, outside of it, white believers, black believers, Asian believers, I don't care. I want to see believers in economic power. And I'm in riot mode now. If you want to join me in a riot mode, you can join me. But whether you join or not, I'm in a riot mode. Right now. So, this is not 2014. Around 2014, I was like a little vulnerable lamb. Now, I'm this rioting, fierce lion. And I won't stop till I devoured my prey fully. And when I get my prey, while the prey is alive, I'll feast on it. That's how I deal with the satanic world. I laugh at the retaliation of saints. I laugh at the retaliation. And the United States, as an administration, will suffer violence for banning me from entering their country. That will happen to them. And that will work on in the favor of the believers over there. So, whatever goes on in your life, I decree and declare solutions, long-term benefits follow you and overtake you every second that you're alive. Every second you're alive, long-term benefits and long-term solutions keep on following you. All of you in Christ Jesus' mighty name. Here's the thing. I can still apply to go to the United States with a visa, but not on the ESTA travel anymore. So they're quite vague, but I don't care about that administration. I'll keep on looting, and I keep on looting the world right over here. Listen, man, when saints riot in the spirit, it's more powerful than any Black Lives Matter protest out there. With a Black Lives Matter protest, they can sabotage it. And saints riots in the faith, oh my God, what are they going to do? And you know what? Let's riot together, saints, until we see economic power flow through our bodies and through our communities. Force the wicked to concede what they've stolen from us. Nadine Johnson, thank you for your subject donations. Very much appreciated. Well, I don't have cash at Naima because I don't have an American bank account, but I'll try to figure a way around it very soon because PayPal is also acting quite weird from time to time. I'm blocked from using my Dutch bank accounts with PayPal. And I asked PayPal what's going on. They couldn't explain. They say, no, it's not with us. It's with Ideal. And Ideal has no phone number. Yeah, but criminals are using PayPal every day to launder money, but they don't get any blockage. But I get blocked. So, okay, I'm using PayPal. I use PayPal for practical reasons, but I'm trying to get to another way with it very soon because I don't trust this. There was a time they blocked my account fully and they wanted me to send my passport details. And I was thinking, what? You know what? Soon when I get a better service, I'll let you believers know about it. So, okay. All right. So that is, okay, can you use Square? I'm going to, if you, Danielle Sims, can you email me about the Square you are talking about? Because I will look into it. Thank you very much. There's no Walmart here in the Netherlands, but okay, I'm going to answer this question, and then I'm going to okay. So I'm going to answer this question, and you know what? You can use Western Union. If you want to do a Western Union donation, please email me. Then I'll email my details, and so that then I'll get it in full, and you also get a notification when you got it. Okay. So, okay. So I'm going to answer this question of CNA. Why are some believers advocating the rapture so much to avoid the common tribulations and the mark of the beast? No, it's very simple. Those believers are deceived thinking it's about the European Union or Western Europe. That's one thing. They don't get it that it's about the tribe of Judah. They don't even know that history, so they're deceived. So they have a false expectation of how the blessing works. That's one thing. And secondly, they're not focused on solutions, they're focused on escaping. That's why the rapture is so popular for them, because they think when the big things about to happen will be gone. What scripture may explain will be here, will overcome. They have no actual practicing faith. I'm not saying they're not born again, but they are operating in treason against the Heavenly Father. That's what goes on. They are relief oriented, not solution oriented. That's why. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check any other money alternative there is besides PayPal. I'll leave my PayPal account up for those who want to donate to it, because I get everything you send to me on PayPal, but there's some shady business behind PayPal going on that I'm not sure what's going on there. So I'll leave it up for now. I'll look for alternatives for you. Western Union is fine. And listen, saints, I want all of you to operate in economic power. All of you. So everyone who donates to me, every donation is to invest in my economic power to benefit you in the future. We as saints need to build our own worldwide economy and stop begging this Baphomet structure for some crumbs. And listen unto me, saints. Some of you were declined financial assistance because God doesn't want the Baphomet involved in your blessing. Okay? Some of you went to the bank with good business plans, but the bank declined you. And you should not be happy because that bank is run by Baphomet worshippers. And if they would sponsor you, their curses would afflict you too. Okay? So stop looking for the Baphomet credit. You don't need it. Believers will be so economically powerful that we will be the ones financing recovery to the world without needing anything from the world. All right? So I'll do my research to find alternatives for PayPal, and I'm going to riot now, also on your behalf. You don't have to do it as long as I do, because you may have a full-time job or you may have other things to do, but in all my spare time, besides sleeping, eating, drinking, and relaxing, watching movies, I'll be rioting. Even my relaxation will be an investment for our sakes. Okay? I have enough of those Baphomet cutlers scaring us and smacking us around. They asked for this, saints. I'm writing full time without end till I see all of you here in economic power. You can use Jesus, Yeshua, Yahushua, whatever, as long as you truly are in agreement with him. I'll send some of this fire to Kelly. I'm going to write right now. Be blessed, saints. See you till next time.